Hey designer, Alex here, welcome to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to show you 5 cool resources for your design work. So let's get started. Alright, so the first resource is Pattern Monster, so I'm pattern.monster, and I'm going to leave all the links to the websites I'm mentioning down in the description below for you to check them out. Simply click on them to visit all of these websites. So as I said, Pattern Monster, and what you can do right here is to generate all of these cool patterns that you can use as your backgrounds for your web design work or app design work. So let's choose this one for example and see how this looks like. So you can adjust the zoom. Let's say that this is good. Horizontal position, so let's switch it to somewhere around here. Vertical position, so you can move it up or down. Stroke, so you can change the thickness of the stroke however you want. I like to use this light. And angle, so you can change the angle to, for example, something like this. You have these two colors, so let's click on this one and let's adjust it so I can choose something like this, maybe nice green color. Of course you can paste your hex code right here, and when we are done you can click right there and you can always reset. Now the cool thing right here is you can see right here down below you can copy the CSS code, which is great because you can send it straight to the developers. You can download as SVG, or you can copy SVG, or you can download as SVG and PNG. I would always recommend for you to download as an SVG, especially if you're working in XD or Figma like I do. So you can simply import SVG inside, drag it as a background. It's going to contain that quality, but it's going to keep the low size. I don't recommend PNG, especially when you start scaling. Things don't look quite as good obviously as SVG because it's a vector file format. You can see right here that dimensions are 1080 by 1080. Let's change this, or try to change it to 1920 by 1080. See, perhaps it's going to download it like that, but basically that's it. So you can adjust the colors as I said, or you can click Inspire Me and it's going to add all of these different colors for you to check out and for you to look at. But let's hit reset and let's try another one. So if I click right here and lower down the opacity of this one, so now we don't have the opacity of this white color, it's completely empty, but we have this green color. So let's adjust it to nice blue and let's play around with these settings. So let's choose angle to something crazy like this for example. It's looking good, and when you download this it's not going to have any background color because I lowered down the opacity of this to 0. Second website I want to show you is FontJoy. So font pairing made simple, generate font combinations with deep learning. So it's using AI to generate cool font combinations, and from my experience designers are really lacking this experience in pairing different fonts. They are either using one font for their entire project, or when they try to pair fonts it doesn't really look all that great. So it's showing you here, you can click generate to create new font pairing, lock to lock fonts that you want to keep, and edit to choose a font manually. So let's click generate and see how this looks like. It's generating these font combinations like this. So we have Nunito Sans, we have Aruda, and we have Meriwether. So let's click right here. Perhaps I can delete it, and you can see that this is Aruda, this is Nunito Sans, and this is Meriwether. So when I try to type something like this is going to be our sub headline, you can see straight away how the font looks like and to decide if you want to keep it or not. If I like it and IT can do, I'm going to click this lock. This is going to lock it, and then when I switch to generate, you can see it changed this font and it changed this font, but it kept that Ruda font. So let's say that I like this one, let's lock it, but I don't really like this one. So let's edit it and let's see, maybe I can use hint. Let's see, I need something quite bold, so Noto Sans perhaps. Yeah, I really like that one. So when I click, you can see all of these fonts right here, and you can go and download them straight away. So it's really super simple to do. All you need to do is simply switch between all of these fonts to see which works for your project, which doesn't, and then when you're happy with it, you can always come back right here and change the colors, so you can see how the text looks like against the white color. And as I said, you can simply search for these fonts and you can download them later. Next up we have checklist.design, and this is awesome resource for all designers out there. How this works basically is these are all checklists that designers should ideally follow for all of their projects. So we have pages, elements, flows, topics, brand, and let's go into pages and let's see this login page, for example. So you have all of these different pages. Let's click on the login page, and all you need to do right here is to follow what they say and to understand a little bit better. So your login page should ideally have a logo. Does it have logo? Yes, it does. Does it have the title? Yes, it does. Does it have account identification? So perhaps it doesn't have that. So consider multiple identifiers to log in with, for example, username or email address or phone number. So it's giving you all of these tips about what you should include, as well as to what it is and why you should include it in the first place. So for example, a link to sign up. A user may not have an account and landed on this page anyway. So it's just giving you that tip. Maybe you created a login flow, but you didn't create a sign up flow because your users maybe don't have an account. So it's advising you and telling you what the sign up flow actually is. Make sure to check out this page because it's great. And of course you can check out elements. So for example, let's use, I don't know, toggle. So it's going to give you context. So what the toggle will do should always be turning a function on and off, not between two opposing version of a function, i.e. hot or cold. So you get the idea. Make sure to explore checklist.design. It's really a cool resource for you to see, and always you have flows. So submitting a form, deleting an account, entering a promo code, for example, let's check that. So number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So you have to consider all of these states when you are designing, because you cannot just create this and call it a day. You have to consider all of these states. For example, if a user enters wrong code, what happens? If they enter correct code, what happens? If they enter the code which is expired, what happens? So you have to give them these visual clues like you see right here. So promo code has expired, promo code removed, promo code applied. So when you are designing, you have to consider all of these different states for all of these different components. As I said, you cannot just design this and call it a day, because your users don't know what's happened, and developers don't know what's happened, because they need to have all of these different states. So that's why, once again, checklist.design, make sure to check it out. I will leave the links, once again, as I said, in the description below. Make sure to check it out and make sure to learn a thing or two about these flows, and especially elements and when they are used. Next up we have octopus.do, and this is a great website if you want to create these flows. So let me show you. You can vertical view, so you can view it vertically, you can save it, you can add a sticky note, profile, project settings, or import HTML. So these flows are great because these are site flows and these are site maps. So when you're creating website, you need to tell Google, and you need to tell developers, you need to tell your client, and first of all you have to figure this out yourself. If a user clicks on the item, where does it take them? So for example, does it take them to about page? Does it take them to shop page? If it does, on which section of the shop page? So it's really important to plan all of these things out, especially when you're just getting started and you're planning this navigation, for example, on top of your website or the footer down below, because the footer always generally has more of these pages than they are in the header, for example. So what you can do right here is, let's say hero, and I want to change this to say shop, for example. This is services, and let's call this about us, and maybe I want to add another one. So let's, I don't know, click and add block, and I want to call this block, for example, blog, like that. And I want to position it just on top of here. So this is my hero, this is my shop, and instead of hero, let's call it home, maybe. So how this branches out is I can double click right here and type in shop, that you can see right here. So I can type in and say services. So basically all of these pages. So about us, shop, and blog, for example. So let's say that I want to delete this one. I can simply hover and click on that red bucket, so I can click delete. It's going to delete this one, or if I want to add it, I can simply click right here to add as many of these pages as I want. So for example, blog, and let's say I want to keep this footer, for example, let's just keep it there. Of course, you're going to have a different page. So if you want to branch down, so let's say from these services, maybe you have different sections. So if I click there, let's call this service 1, for example. Maybe I want to add another one, so it's going to be service 2. You get the point. So service 2, and let's say that these are products instead of about us, so products. Of course, I'm going to simply change it right here, so shop, services, about us, so it's going to be shop, all products, whatever, and then this is going to be product 1, and so forth. So you can remove it straight from here. You can change the color, so let's use this one, for example. So this is just in a pro version, but you get the idea here. You have all of these colors, these pages right here at the bottom. Of course, these are for cookies, photo 4 arrow, maybe terms and conditions and style guides, and all of these things which are not really all that relevant to put them on top. They are going to be down in the footer at the bottom of the footer. So this is octopus.do, and if you want to download this, you can click save, and it's going to show you all of these different versions. So you can see save to profile, you can always do that, and you can screenshot this if you want to be a little bit naughty. You can download it as a PNG when you're pro, PDF file, text file, and XML file, which is extremely useful, and sitemap.xml, once again, that's extremely useful for your clients when you're generating these sitemaps, because these sitemaps are going to allow them to rank better on Google, and to allow them for Google to be able to read their website in the first place, because Google has all of these crawlers. These are the robots which are basically by default crawling each and every website out there. So when you upload the sitemap, you're just going to help those robots crawl the website that much faster and rank it that much faster, that better. And finally, the last website of the day is Screenshots, so screenshots.club. Once again, link is down in the description. So we have categories. Let's choose education, for example. So we have all of these cool apps for education. So if I show you, we have Duolingo education, so you can click right here, and it's going to take you directly to here, to the Apple's App Store, and you can browse through all of these different screens and see how they look like on iPhone, iPad, and iMessage, how it looks like when users send messages. So it's really cool, nice looking website, and they're always choosing these trendy colors, as you can see, trendy screenshots, but you can take your inspirations from all of these famous apps, and they're not just choosing the most famous apps out there like Instagram and Facebook, for example, but you can see Overlaps, Glass. So there are a few apps out there on this website which are not all that well known and not all that famous, that you can still be inspired from. So there you go, that's it for today's video. I really hope you liked it, and I really hope you are inspired, and I really hope you found these resources helpful. If you did, make sure to check out the description down below. As I said, links are going to be down there. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel, because I upload new videos every single week about Adobe XD, passive income techniques, motivation, and so much more. So if you're interested in content like that, make sure to subscribe, make sure to check out some of my other videos, and until next time, take care.